have this expression, fear of missing out, FOMO in short. And this fear of missing out is consuming more and more of our time, and especially more and more of our attention. But will this fear of missing out on anything actually mean that in reality we are missing out on everything important in life? Hi there everyone, and welcome to my local forest here. This is one of my many, but this is one of my favorite spots here in the forest. And what's so special about this specific place is that, maybe you can see it on the video, there's a special light and color around here because all the forest floor is covered by this very intense green moss, and it just gives this very special, feeling or atmosphere that I really love. And I'm gonna have a cup of coffee and a little, campfire talk. And what I'm gonna talk about today is something that I've actually been talking to a lot of people about over some time, both colleagues and friends and family, and especially my kids. They are both grown up in their early 20s, so still young people. And at first I thought this topic was maybe mostly applying to the young ones, but after talking to a lot of people and observing people and also reflecting about my own life. We have an airplane somewhere up there. I actually think this applies to almost all of us. At least almost all of us. And the topic is this. I think the short for it is FOMO, FOMO, and a lot of you already now know what I'm talking about, but it stands for fear of missing out. Yeah. I will get more into it, but first of all, I will start the fire up here so I can have a cup of coffee. But before I do that, I will also mention that I brought my little friend out here. He is somewhere around here. Little curious George, my cat. Or I didn't bring him because he actually follows me almost wherever I go here in the forest. So he is my little companion and my best little friend out here in the forest, so maybe he will come by. He's somewhere around here. About 2 weeks ago, I was lying on the beach. We had about 30 degrees Celsius, and it was all summer. A few days later, the weather changed instantly, and now it's cold, and I'm wearing winter clothes, and that's how the weather is here in Denmark. Denmark is where we are right now, Scandinavia. This is where I live. I live in a small old house from the 18th century, right here in the middle of the forest. And here he is, little George. Yeah, but this FOMO, or this fear of missing out, I've been thinking quite a lot about it, and yeah, as mentioned, also talked with some people about it, and especially my kids, because they are constantly on their smartphones, on social media or whatever they are doing on all these devices, and they rarely have a moment without some kind of stimulation or entertainment or contact interaction. And of course, I know that this is just how you connect to your friends and are living a social life in this modern world. So this is not about disconnecting or leaving all that behind. This campfire talk. This is more this is more about the concept or the thought of missing out, the fear of missing out, because I mean, you don't have to be on these social medias all the time, and you don't have to be in contact with everyone all the time. And obviously, this is my opinion. This is from my perspective, an old man living out here in the forest. But what I've been thinking about is that I find that this fear of missing out is somehow a paradox, a contradiction, because what I can see, what I can observe, is that in the chase or in this addiction or this constantly being on, being online, being connected, so that you won't miss out on anything. In my opinion, you are actually missing out on everything. I don't know if you know the feeling from your old days. If you've been, on vacation for 2 weeks or something like that, and when you come home, you have this excitement or this feeling that, oh, tell me about what happened while I was gone, and you realize that nothing really happened. It's all just the same. The politics are the same. What people are doing and talking about are the same. So while you were gone, you weren't actually missing out on anything. I'm not to decide what's important in your life. I can decide what's important in my life. I'm just sharing my thoughts here. And the question just is, do we spend most of our time with the things, doing the things with the people, etc., that are the most important things in our life? Or are we spending the most of our time being online, following the social medias, following all these social relations online, in this fear of missing out? If I'm not aware of it, I sometimes, have caught myself in watching the news for several hours every day until I unconsciously, get this feeling of something is wrong. I'm feeling more and more stressed and sad. And I realize it's because I'm watching more and more news, and almost 99% of all news are negative. So it affects me. And then I stop. And in the beginning, I'm actually getting this feeling of missing out, what's going on in the world. But yeah, about, watching the news all the time. I feel that, and that's one of the things I found out by talking, to friends and colleagues, etc. I feel that there's some kind of, it's almost like it's an obligation you have to follow the news, to know what's happening in the world. So you can both feel that, yeah, here we have the wind. You can both feel that you're kind of missing out, but you could also feel that, you have a responsibility, an obligation to be informed, to be well informed. So there's a huge amount of information that we feel that we have to gain or to know about. And the more globalized this world gets in the information stream, the more this obligation or this feeling of having to know everything is growing. And we do only have a limited amount of attention to use while we are here in life and on this planet. So all our attention will be used up by this fear of missing out. And that way, and this is my point, that way we are actually really missing out on everything else. So the consequence of this fear of missing out, in my opinion, actually is that we are missing out on everything else in life. And I would say everything else important in life. I will tell you a little story about when I moved out here into the forest. I moved into an old house from, it's about 200 years old, right here in the middle of the forest. And before I moved into the house, an old lady was living there. She got sick and went to the hospital and never went back, so that's why the house was available. And yeah, this little friend came along with the house because yeah, this old lady, she had him, and she never went back, and then he was left here all alone until I came. So I guess he was very alone out here for almost a year, I think. And he was a little kitten back then. So now he's my best friend, and I'm pretty sure that I'm his best friend too. Anyway, what I noticed when I came here to have the first look at the house was that she had no internet connection, she had no computer, she had no smartphone, no phone at all, she had no television, she had nothing, she had no connection to the outer world at all. So yeah, she had a dog and yeah, this this cat and a few books, and that's it. And if something happened out there in the world, she wouldn't know, and she would be, happily unknowing. She didn't know about all the wars and all the climate crisis, and she didn't know about anything. And this is where the discussion, I had with my friends, etc., is interesting, because a lot of people think that, again, you have an obligation and you have to participate, and if you want to use your vote, and all that stuff, you need to be well informed, and you can't just live like this old lady, totally not knowing anything about anything. But can you? I guess you can. So yeah, just as almost everything I talk about in these campfire talks, nothing is simple and straightforward. So what I'm trying to say here is that we are wasting a lot of attention on this fear of missing out. So we are actually missing out on the most important things in life. Whether it's family or your children or your hobbies, your passions, your friends, your work, whatever it is, if you're not, present, you are actually missing out on all those other things in life. And you are not present with your senses and with your attention and with yourself. You're not even present inside of yourself. So you're also missing out on who you are. You're missing out on, feeling what's important to me. What do I want to do with my life? And where do I want to spend my time and my attention in life? Just to have this reflection, this talk with yourself sometimes. Even that you are missing out of. So what's going on in here is more and more filling up what's going on in here. And I would say that if you put things on a weight, what's important in life. And that's different for all of us, I know that. So you will have to ask yourself what's important in your life. We are so infiltrated in these mind patterns of this modern life that it's very difficult to get this distance or disconnection sometimes. And that's also what's happening with this fear of missing out, that we are pulled more and more into this information stream, this information flow, because all the social media platforms and all the media or news networks, etc., they want us to put all our attention into all this because that's their business. So they are doing all these manipulating tricks to draw our attention into these platforms and news channels, etc., because our attention is their business. So what can you do about it? Yeah, it's simple. Use the turn off button and turn on your life instead. And I know this can be both controversial and there will be different opinions about this, and of course there is. This is only my perspective, my point of view, you could say, and I never claim to know the truth, and I never push what's right and wrong onto other people. I hopefully can just inspire and make you think about things that I talk about. That's why I do these campfire talks. They're not, to tell you again what's right and wrong. I'm just hoping to inspire you and to plant a seed and make all you guys out there think about these things. Reflect about your own life. What's important in your life? How are you spending your time? How are you spending this limited amount of attention available to you? And that's probably about it for this campfire talk. I don't know. Hopefully you were inspired or found it helpful, or maybe just cozy joining me here for a cup of coffee in the forest. Anyway, hopefully you will also consider to subscribe and share and like. That would make me very happy, and I would really appreciate it. And you can find some of my other campfire talks in my playlist of the same name, Campfire Talks. And hopefully I will see you in some of my other videos. And until then, I wish you all the best, all of you guys. See you. Bye. And I think that little George fell asleep.